Hi, my name's Brad Necyk. I'm an artist and academic, and I'm here to present you the show and all of everything. At the very end of my first bachelor's degree, I had one more elective I could take at the 100 level, so like a first year class. And I decided to take an art class as my kind of final elective. I had the most amazing instructor, Roy Mills, who still continues to be a mentor to me. And he just totally inspired me and unlocked that creative drive. Like everything with Gary and I just flows. And everything informs the next piece that's like in production. I feel like a lot of Gary and I's work is like kind of like discovery as we kind of go along. And then as we discover new things, they kind of coalesce into a piece, and then they kind of disperse, and then they'll coalesce into another piece. It's an interesting collaboration. And all of everything, I think, really came from the beginning of my meditation practice. And I really wanted to start making very slow art. I think I was also inspired by Gary's work at the time as well. That was very, very slow and long and demanded your attention, much like a meditative practice does. So I wanted to kind of make visual that kind of slow time. And that's kind of how that work began. I was only making photographs at the time in 3D rendered spaces because the computer technology I had and the software technology I had, it would take like well over a day to render out just a single image. So there was no way to render out like 18,000 or 36,000 frames. Like I didn't have 36,000 days to do that. And so I rendered out a photograph that was the room that Joshua Tree and Avatar's dream both begin in, that marble room, glass background. And so it really began with the photograph. And then just a couple months later, I found out about this new way of rendering, this new software that could use different parts of my computer. So it could use the graphics card, which had more power to render it. And the very first piece that I made that was an animation with it was I took that room and just put the sun on a simulation to run from midnight to midnight again, and just ran it through 10 minutes. And it was like a revelation for me. And I would just sit there and watch this on loop. And I knew something about Joshua Tree. I felt there was something sacred about that place, and I just was drawn to it. And I went, and for 2 days I went and filmed Joshua Tree National Park, and came back and was immediately like, I knew I wanted it on this wall, and I made the piece. And it was just like totally amazing to see this very human handheld looking that was going on with this completely still room. Being challenged with time a little bit, attuning to time, getting a growing sense of like the march of time, like how the shadow moves. For me, at least, what I experience is as that shadow transitions and then slowly leaves the panel or the pictorial plane, and then you start descending into darkness. I think there's kind of like a growing sense of being out of time, like you're losing that daylight, disappears, you're descending into that darkness. I kind of look at it as like, basic science, like just trying things, putting things together, seeing how things work. Like I know even when I was creating the initial room for like the marble room, I had a whole lineup of textures in my 3D rendering program, and I would just drag and drop things, put it on. I remember there was like rust at one point. That's the thing I love about 3D rendering, is you can just try things, and then it's like it doesn't work, you just plop something else down, you shift this, you move the camera, you can test things out really, really quickly in real time. And where like, for instance, like in my painting practice, it's a very different way of working. But that's the thing I love, is that different parts of my creative practice have different modes of experimentation, which then allow different things to emerge. And so that's why I like practicing in lots of ways. I don't just stick in 3D rendering. But I think it's just like this very monolithic, like there's no distractions around the room. There's no other pictures. There's no other videos. It's just the piece and the speakers, and it's big, and just sit and be with it. It's just like an invitation. And I really like that about the exhibition.